What's up, everyone? It's Brody from Infamous Racing. You considering buying a China lift? Well, you might want to hear this first. So in the video today, I'm going to be running you through things like the best way I found to buy this thing, shipping, how that went, damages I had, what kind of flaws I've seen with this thing so far. I'm going to give you my 1 month review. What kind of vehicles have I had on this thing? Is it worth the money? And the big question that everyone's wondering when they're about to go buy one of these off-brand Chinese lifts is, do I think this thing is safe? Do I think it's sketchy? I'll give you my opinion on all that stuff, so follow along. It's going to be some talking, but I'll show you what it's like in practical use too. Also want to tell you, I am in no way sponsored by Katool or any of their affiliate companies, anything like that. Haven't seen a dollar, haven't talked to them about making this video. So what you're hearing from me today is all on me. So you're probably like me, and right now you're debating buying a lift. You're trying to see what are the trade-offs between buying a used one off a marketplace. Do you buy a brand new name brand one, or do you buy an off-brand Chinese one like I ended up doing? Now that choice is up to you. I think the general sentiment is that if you buy a name brand US one, that one is probably going to be tested more rigorously. It's probably going to be safer, but you're probably also going to pay 3 times the price. That's everyone's personal decision and financial decision. I didn't like the idea of buying a used one and potentially not getting all the parts. How worn out is the used one? So I did some research and I ended up buying this one from Katool. Now, the buying process was a little bit interesting. So I went on their website. They had a good sale. This is their 11,000 pound model. They talk about they have static load tested this thing to 150%. So that would be 16,500 pounds. That all seems fine and dandy. They had a good sale. So this was normally $3,000. On their website, it was $2,500. Can do that. Ended up going all through the checkout process, and with tax and then $300 in shipping, it was going to be $3,000 to my door. Now, I just so happened to go on Temu, however you want to pronounce it, and found this exact same lift, and the lift was being sold from Katool directly on that website, and it was another few $100 cheaper than even their sale price on their website. And the cool part is that on Temu, they have free shipping. So this thing ended up being $2,400 after tax shipped to my door. Pretty hard to beat for an 11,000 pound model. I'll show you some differences on why you would buy this 11,000 pound model over some 7,000 or 8,000 pound models. But overall, the Temu process, especially since it was shipping directly from them, so I knew I wouldn't have any warranty issues or anything like that, that seemed to be the way to go. And $2,400, that's pretty dang cheap for what you're getting. So the shipping part is a whole nother story, and I'm going to show you guys some pictures here. But they're going to end up calling you after you place your order and ask you a couple things. Is this thing shipping to a loading dock, or is it shipping to a residential address? Now, if you're shipping to your house like I was, they're going to ask you to for sure have a way to unload that from a semi. And this thing, I think, was listed at 1,500 or 1,600 pound shipping weight. So it is heavy, it's long, it's awkward. It's not a full pallet width. It's actually more like a quarter of a pallet width. And then there's stickers and signs all over the thing on do not lift here, do not lift this end. So you have to be careful. For sure, their shipping container leaves a lot to be desired. And I'm going to show you right here, mine ended up being damaged. That was a whole nother rigmarole to get replacement parts. They made it right. It took a while. Still happy with it all, but you're going to see here that it definitely leaves something to be desired. It could be a lot more robust. What I ended up doing is I had a tractor with pallet forks. I was able to get in under the long side, pull it out into the point where we could get the back side of it onto the lift gate of the box truck, lowered it down, and then we found a point where they didn't have a sign saying do not lift here. and we could get it to balance between the two pallet forks and got it in the shop, got it laid down and unpackaged. So overall it went okay, but just so you know, you're going to have something like a skid steer or a tractor or forklift or something to be able to get that thing out. It's kind of a pain, but shipping is free. Yeah, good luck. Went okay for me. We'll see with you. So as you're seeing in the pictures here, this carriage was the main area of damage when I received the lift. I don't actually think that it was during shipping that got damaged, because I didn't see any nicks or marks on the paint at all. I think there's actually a pretty good chance that happened during their manufacturing before they actually coated this. Now that would be indicative of some quality control issues, right? Regardless, they ended up making it right. So they sent me a full replacement carriage because this is all one weldment. Guys, that took a month and a half to receive. Now, me being impatient as I am, I ended up making like an 8 or 9 foot cheater bar that fit nice and tight over this flange, bent it back into place. This thing swings no problem now. I didn't want to put any heat on it because I didn't want to change any hardness properties or risk any brittle failures, anything like that. So bent it back into place, works like it should. And Katool actually sent me $200 as a refund for kind of an inconvenience fee. So it ended up working out okay, but obviously indicative of some potential quality issues. Now, when it came to actually plopping this thing on the ground, I had a couple decisions to make, right? So the first one being, do you go with the Chinese wedge anchors that came with the lift? Honestly, these look okay, but I felt way better going with the Made in the USA Redhead brand. Now, these were like $55 or $60 for all of them. The Hilti brand, people say, is really awesome too. It's about twice the price. But we've all seen the horror stories of these lifts coming up out of the concrete. You don't want to be that person, so get yourself some quality wedge anchors and get this thing in the ground. The other thing I wanted to do was spread out the load, right? So this is the factory mounting plate. And what I wanted to do is make another plate that went on to spread everything out. Now, I only have 4 inches of concrete here. This lift at 11,000 pounds calls out 5.9 inches of concrete. Now, I never planned to have 11,000 pounds on here, but again, this plate in theory is helping spread that mass out. It's helping compensate for when you have an uneven load on here. So shout out to Winger Metal. He actually laser cut this out. This is a 5/8 thick piece of plate. I was able to send him the diagram for the lift. He laser cut all of the factory holes, so he didn't have to do any drilling. We got this thing shimmed and nice and level all the way up to the top on both sides. And then once it was bolted down, I actually welded the plate to the factory base so that this all acts as one. Retorqued everything after I lifted and lowered a few vehicles on here. And even with the heaviest vehicle I have, this thing is nice and solid on the bottom when that's up in the air. Something you might notice here too is that this lift is kind of backwards as to conventional which side you would drive it on. You see that the Katool lift is on this side. Usually that logo is on the side that you drive in. So they reassured me that either lifting method is totally fine. What I ended up doing is I actually swapped this part of the arm and that part of the inside arm around so that I still have the telescoping extended arm in the backside. That inside diameter of both of those tubes is the same, so they swap around no problem. But I wanted the hydraulics on the non-wall side so that I wasn't up against the wall every time I wanted to lift or actuate the locks. So that worked out fine. Don't let that affect your decision. You can just kind of swap that around. Now let me show you a couple of the gripes that I have with this, be it that they're all kind of minor and wouldn't have affected me purchasing it anyways. This lift is nice that you have single point lock access, so you can engage or disengage the locks both from this side. You never have to go over to the other side of the lift, but for whatever reason, they did not have the mounting nuts welded onto this pivot arm for the handle, so I ended up having to weld that on myself. And then it took me quite a bit of messing around to get this cable correct. And I'll show you what I mean on the other side, but I've got this just about all the way out. And basically I couldn't get this mounting point on the other side low enough for that cable. Now coming over to the other side, this is what I mean. You don't have to ever mess with this side once it's all set up right. But this threaded hole is where the factory mounting point was in here. And when I had this bolt mounted in there, I just could not get it so that I had enough spring pressure to engage this side of the locks. It was basically always pulling down on this side because of the cable length, even though I showed you on the other side I had that heim adjusted. So I ended up welding this to a lower spot. Now this cable has a little bit of slack in it when it's all the way down, which means that this locks properly when it's going up. Not a big deal, just something I noticed. Now, another kind of a painful thing about this is the cable adjustment. So you got to be able to adjust these cables so that they're the correct tension, but also so that your locks are locking in unison between the two sides. Now, to do that, you're going to be adjusting this side of the cable, but you need to be able to access the bottom nut on here. You can see that this window relative to the 15/16 wrench you're going to be using is really small. So you can shove it in there. You can eventually get it down below the threads here, but it is a pain. If this window was just a little bit lower or a little bit wider, it would be considerably easier. You'll get it. It's just not ideal compared to some of the other designs I've seen. One kind of annoying thing, but again, not a big deal, are these little loops meant for pulling up your locks. I've had these get bound up a couple times before, so you really got to pull on these. And you can see that even just by hand, I've been able to pull on them and stretch them enough that they become no longer a circle. Can obviously bend that back together, give it a little tack weld on the ends, and fix it. Just something that I noticed. Now, my last complaint on it would just be lack of directions. The directions that they come with are kind of a joke. So go and check out these two YouTube videos. I'll put them in the link below. Both of these were really helpful and were kind of my main references throughout the install process. I've seen quite a few of these YouTube videos with these China lifts where their ultimate test is to lift a 1/2 ton. And I think that's really cute and everything, but we're going to see if this one can lift a 3/4 ton diesel crew cab long box. All right, here goes nothing. And you got to do the thing, right? Now down on the locks. Voila, 8,000 pound truck. This thing has an impressive amount of power to get stuff up in the air. Let's take a little look with this thing in the air. No bendy, it's good. Take a look at the extended one back here. Looks pretty dang good too. The other side. Yeah, I think it looks honestly really good. Should go without saying too that if you're lifting something like a 4-door long bed with this much cantilever off the backside, be a real good idea for you to pick up something like this screw jack. It's going to come in handy for doing exhausts and stuff like that too. This was $60. Stabilize the backside of this so it is nice and solid up there. All right, show you how solid this thing is. I'm going to press on it about as hard as I can. Yeah, she don't move even with the big beast on there. Sure is nice having this thing up in the air, being able to check everything out while you're under here. I mean, I've been looking forward to getting a lift for a long time, and it is super slick. It's worth the hype. Will he make a giant mess? Let's see. Probably. This isn't a very good angle under here because I know it's going to come flying out. Oh, piece of cake. It's another thing you're probably going to want to pick up is something to contain all that oil you're going to be changing on your brand new lift. This was an Amazon jobber. Again, no affiliation, but so far it's a really slick unit. It's going to about wrap it up for me. I appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video, listening to me ramble on about this thing. I've had good luck with it. I'm not saying that you're going to have good luck if you go out and order a China lift, but I've had quite a few vehicles on here so far, and a few months in, this thing's really given me no problems. There are some quality control things to look out for. There are some things to be desired. Of course, the price point is really hard to beat. So whatever you end up doing with your decision, I wish you the best of luck. Please like and subscribe on this channel. I know it sounds cliche, but it really does help me continue to make some videos. Have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one.